Hello and welcome or welcome back to the allotment plot. It is the 1st of October and it's officially Halloween month. I absolutely love October. It's my favourite month. I'm so excited and I'm really excited that the plot actually still looks fairly exciting. There's so many flowers on the cosmos still. There's loads of tomatoes and my random squash is growing. So perhaps I'll have something to harvest for Halloween. Even if it's not a pumpkin, I might have a squash jack-o'-lantern instead. Who knows? I've been away this weekend visiting my friend Saren, and we visited her allotment, and I was so excited to see it in person after seeing in photos and videos for so long, and it just inspired me so much. It was so exciting to be there, and I have heaps of inspiration and motivation to get back to my allotment, and I think I just really needed the break. I needed some downtime and I've had it and it has done a world of good. So I had such a lovely time. I cannot wait to get dahlias on my allotment. Saren's dahlias are incredible and I definitely need some for here next year, and I will be looking at all of the bulb sales later on this year, hopefully picking up some cheap bulbs so I can have lots and lots of pretty flowers.
Before I went away, I did a couple of projects. One was turning this scrappy, unused side of my greenhouse into a holding bed, and in here I put some zinnias and some of the many lavenders that I got in the mail, and the idea is just to put them here temporarily and get them growing up a little bit more before they go into their final spots. I also worked on another section of the wild area so that I could get it prepared and ready to sow some more green manure. Breaking up this entire end into little sections has been so beneficial to make sure that I don't feel disappointed every time I do something, because I can feel proud that I tackled one section and completed this area without feeling guilty that the rest of it still looks like a bomb has gone off. I took a closer look at the carrots in the raised bed and I realised there are two very slightly distinct plants in here. So there's these spiky tipped ones and then the round tipped ones. And if I'm correct, the spiky tipped ones are in fact carrots and the round ones are the weeds. So I might actually have some carrots in this bed after all. And of course, I harvested another bunch of beautiful tomatoes.
There are some things happening on my allotment which are quite exciting, so let me give you a little look around and show you what's going on. The green manure patch is, I think, growing very well. I'm hoping all of these seeds are green manure seeds and not weeds. It would be quite annoying if I was watering weeds, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these are the green manure seedlings. So this is the first patch that I sowed. Up to here, the middle of the screen is basically the two halves that I've done, and then this is the patch I did before the weekend, and there are a couple of seedlings coming up. So these are only 5 days old and they look very similar to the other patch. So I'm pretty sure these ones are also green manure. So this patch will be hopefully looking a little bit like that in a week or so's time. The most exciting thing, and rather surprising, is I already have garlics sprouting in the garlic bed. Some of these are grass, but there are definitely garlics. This is a garlic, this is a garlic, that's a garlic. So they mostly look like the white Casablancas, which are on the left-hand side. And then I think there's a couple of small sprouts of the pink germain just peeking through. So that's really exciting. I didn't think they'd be growing this early. I don't know yet if there's onions. These sprouts, I think, are just grass. But they might be underneath the hay. There might be something poking through. I'll have a bit of a dig around and see if there's anything yet. But I was really worried I'd planted them too early, and I'm thrilled to find that actually I do have garlics growing already. So that's a really, really good sign. I'm very, very excited for garlic. I made this holding bed and I've put some zinnias and a handful of the lavenders in here. I don't think they like it. The zinnias have not taken at all, um, and I don't think that the lavenders have grown very well. The soil looks really compacted here, and also the moles are back and have been causing a mischief, which is unfortunate, but I think thankfully these lavenders have survived the mole attack, but they don't look great, and that's concerning because I have quite a few to put in the ground. So I might put them somewhere else with some sifted compost because I think maybe the soil's just a bit too compacted and they're not getting enough moisture potentially. So I saw the concept of having a holding bed on Gardener's World a couple of weeks ago, and essentially it's just to put some plants into the ground in a more formal arrangement to allow them to establish a little bit better, get them out of pots, and then when they are grown up a bit more, you can then take them out of the holding bed and put them into their final spot. Um, and so that's what I'm doing with the lavenders, and hopefully I will get some decent little plants to move around the plot later on. Um, I've had a really good suggestion about putting them at the end in front of the fence to keep down the weeds and create a bit of a barrier between my allotment and um, the neighbour's fence. So I think that's a really good idea, and I'll definitely pop some down there, and it will create such a lovely little hedge of lavender, hopefully. And if I have a seating area down there, hopefully it would smell incredible as well. So that is the plan for some of the lavenders, but I do have, I can't remember, over 70 of them. So I need to make another holding bed and get another batch in. And I've also got a few other plants to throw in and start getting established, such as a cornice, so that I can grow and harvest my own pea sticks and structures to grow things up like the beans. And I just have a few other plants to pop in here and there just to get some perennials on the plot so that not everything is annuals, because with annuals everything's going to die and look very sad very soon. So it will be really good to get some perennial plants in and have a little bit of interest throughout the winter months.
I'm adding some more phlox plants around the very front of the allotment. As they grow up, they will join together and create a carpeted border and spill over where the branches are. The varieties that I have here should produce either lilac-y purple or pink flowers. I also have some trailing violas, which my mum managed to salvage from some seed from her own plants, which were completely eaten by slugs this year. So I've taken a few to put on my plot as well. And between us, hopefully we'll be able to keep them going a bit longer. This is the cornice or dogwood. It has bright red stems, so it's really interesting for winter months and adds a really nice pop of colour. I'm not sure where to put this permanently, but for now it's small enough to fit in this little V shape of the branch, and hopefully that'll keep it a bit more protected and I won't stand on it.
The other day I redid this bed and I was convinced that there were no carrots, and it was just I think it's the fumitory, which looks incredibly similar. But I got rid of everything that was fumitory and was left with these. And now that they've actually got some space to grow, they look quite well established. So I think I've got 3 or 4, possibly 5 carrots in this bed, and the beetroot just look amazing. I'm really excited to harvest those. They won't be too long before they are ready. And the second sowing of beetroot, which I did, which I thought was far too late, have actually sprouted as well. So I might get lucky and have another harvest of beetroots closer to um, November, but if not, it's no stress. It was just an experiment to see if I could get them germinated a little bit later than what was advised. But yeah, these guys are so good. I have harvested a few beans from the second planting, but these plants never established as much as the plants near the bean tower. So I think they just went in too late, and when they went in, it was super awful weather with the wind and the rain, and they just got battered so much and didn't really have much of a chance to get going. But there have been a few beans. There are a couple on there, but they are also getting really nibbled. Um, that was a bean, and it's just been absolutely decimated. So these slugs are definitely enjoying these beans a lot more than I am. Oh my gosh, I've just noticed I've got broccoli florets. These are my purple sprouting broccolis. I wasn't expecting to get any flowers this early. Is that okay? Is it uh is it okay that I'm getting broccoli this early? Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is a lot earlier than I was expecting, so I need to figure out what to do with this. If I need to harvest it or just keep it going. I don't know. This is the weediest of all the plants, so perhaps it's just so stressed that it's put its flower out and is about to die. I don't know. But that is really cool. Oh my goodness, my first broccoli. Yes. Very exciting. It's time to say goodbye to the sweet pea wall. It did such a good job, and while the sweet peas are out, they look incredible, and I love them so much. But it is definitely time to take it down and start clearing this area. It will make a huge difference. It's going to look really weird. I'm going to see the water tank again, which is really sad, but I definitely need to get these down because I have so much other stuff to do, and they have definitely served their purpose, and it's time to go. But thank you, Sweet Peas, for all your hard work. You did amazing. You look great, and I'm sorry I didn't look after you as well as I should have done. Next year, I will be better and learn from my mistakes.
While the flowers are dead, these are still producing something beautiful. Just look at those tendrils. The spirals are just so pretty. I really love them. They're such an interesting architectural sculpture in their own right. And it just shows that even when everything is faded and brown and withered, you can still find interest and beauty in just about anything. If you've watched Saren's video already of my visit, you'll know that we cleared some of her allotment, and that included taking down her sweet pea tower, which is what inspired me to finally get cracking on with mine. It was certainly due, and I had the motivation to finally dedicate my time to doing it, and it's really satisfying seeing it coming down, but also it's a bit of a bittersweet moment because I just remember all of those beautiful sweet pea blooms that I had. Every time I came to the plot, I would pick a bunch, and my mum would be demanding they come out of the house because they were far too strong for her, and I just had so many great memories of my sweet peas this year, and I just cannot wait to try them again next year. I think I've saved enough seed that the entire plot could just be sweet peas if I planted all of them, so I will definitely be making more sweet pea structures next year. And I'm really hoping that cornice I planted earlier will produce some really lovely sticks with which I can make some interesting structures to grow up my sweet peas. In this moment, I'm thinking how exposed this particular area feels, and I am not loving the water tank, and I'm just trying to think of something that I can do to remedy this feeling. So I just found what I had available, as always, and just went with it and played around with adding in the archway and wrapping up the nasturtiums and just seeing what happens in an attempt to make this area feel a little less uncomfortable.
I couldn't cope with how bare it looked, so I thought I would just throw the arch in, seeing as I had it, and the nasturtiums are looking really scrappy. So I have just tucked them in. Maybe they'll re-establish themselves and keep growing. I don't really know when they'll stop. They look really good. They're constantly putting out new leaves and flowers, so maybe they'll keep going throughout October. I'm getting visions of my pumpkin arch next year, which excites me greatly. I cannot wait to have a pumpkin arch. I'm so looking forward to that. But yeah, this gives you an idea of what that might look like. But yeah, sweet peas are gone for another year, and I will put them elsewhere next year and have a bit more of a solid structure, not have too many in one space, and hopefully I will avoid mildew next year, which would be really lovely because it just looked so awful. But they were worth it when they were in their peak.
These are my moneymaker tomatoes, which are in a pot outside the greenhouse, and I cannot get over how big some of these have grown. I just can't help think how much bigger and how many more tomatoes would I have got if I'd planted these in the ground like I did the other tomatoes in the designated tomato bed. So I will be saving seeds from these tomatoes and growing them next year for sure. But I will be growing them in the ground, and hopefully they will do a lot better than they did in the pot. I'm really going to miss my little baskets of produce over the winter. They have been such a delight, and I've been so proud of everything I've grown so far. On the theme of tomatoes, the next day's job was to tidy up the tomato bed and start to clip back some of the dead leaves and also some of the new flowers and tiny fruits that definitely are not going to be ripening now. Tomatoes need the heat and the light of the sun, so any new little fruits are just not going to have enough time to mature before the first frosts. So I am clearing out as much of the foliage as possible to ensure maximum light hitting the fruits that I've already got growing on there, and taking away any new flowers and tiny fruits so that the plant isn't wasting precious energy on getting those to establish and instead putting it into the fruits that are already growing and have a chance to fully ripen. The whole bed is now looking a lot more open, and those fruits are far more exposed, so anytime there is some sunlight they will be maximising on that as much as possible. And I have so many fruits still, you can see just how many tomatoes there are, and even with the heaps of tomatoes that have fallen and rotted and split, I'm still getting such a good harvest from these 5 plants. The next bed to tackle in my autumn tidy up is the courgettes. As they just grow from the end, there is no point in keeping any of these leaves further back, and they're just covered in mildew anyway and taking up a lot of space, so it's a really good time to just get started with clearing this whole bed. Again, as with the tomatoes, I want the fruits to have as much access to sunlight as possible, so getting rid of the big leaves covering the fruits will hopefully increase the light and give the final courgettes their best chance of fully maturing into edible fruits. Unlike the tomato leaves, which will be going in my compost bins, these are not, they are going to go to the tip. I do not want these courgette leaves to be in my compost because that will keep the mildew for next year, and I really want to try and avoid as much as possible getting mildew. It's probably inevitable, but I'm doing as much as I possibly can to avoid it.
There are still viable courgettes on the Romanesco, and I'm really hoping I can get these to grow a little bit more and I can harvest them. I think it's just going to be these three. There are more coming up still, but it is the 2nd of October, so I think I'm pushing it, but I will keep these going as long as possible. There is another one on the green lawn as well, and there's another few actually, so I might get lucky. You can see just how long these plants are now that I've cut them away. The Romanesco is absolutely monstrous. It has grown the entire length of the bed and some. I definitely need to factor that in next year when I plant my courgettes, because if you give them 6 feet to grow, they are going to grow 9 feet. So, yeah, but they have been so successful. They've been so delicious. They're my favourite thing to grow, I think. So, courgettes this year have been a huge success, and I cannot wait until next year and I can grow some more. The experiment of whether I can grow tomatoes in a courgette bed has yielded various results. I think they're not good because the tomatoes don't get enough sunlight, but just look how many tomatoes are on this plant. That is just one stem. I have no idea what variety it is. These tomatoes were in the compost, so these must be what the previous plot owner grew. No idea what they are. They've never really ripened enough for me to want to eat them. They always look a bit funky, but yeah, that is an insane amount of tomatoes. So it can be done, but probably not advised to. I've just spent quite a long time deadheading the cosmos. There are so many buds still waiting to come out, and I am so intrigued to see how long I can keep these going because they've just produced non-stop and they have really, really made such an impact on the plot. So I'm wondering if I can get them growing all the way through October and possibly into November. So that's going to be a little mini side quest of mine that I'm going to set. How long can I get the cosmos to carry on blooming for? But the tidying up is definitely well underway and things are starting to look drastically different. And it's exciting. It's really, really quite nice to start tidying things up a little bit, and it's helping me to be able to visualize just how it's going to look next year. And I can start making some big plans and changes and get some hard landscaping done, get some beds made, and yeah, just start preparing for next year and getting excited about it all over again. The next time I'll be on the plot will be my 5 month anniversary, so I will look forward to giving you a bit of a walk around the plot and seeing things a little bit more in depth. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very shortly in the next allotment vlog update. As always, stay calm and carry on growing. Bye!